We spend our lives looking for answers, to who we are, to why we suffer, to what this all means. We are taught, by school, by society, by story, that clarity is the goal. That knowledge is a staircase and each answer takes us higher. That if we ask the right questions long enough, we will eventually arrive. But what if answers are not destinations, but invitations? What if, instead of closing the door, a real answer opens it wider? There's a strange thing that happens when you finally get the answer you were seeking. It often gives birth to a deeper, harder, more disorienting question. One you didn't even know you needed to ask. You finally understand your trauma. But now you wonder who you are without it. You learn how the universe expands. But now you question whether time even flows. You reach a spiritual insight. But now you ask if even you exist to experience it. This is the paradox of answers. They don't end the journey. They deepen it. The moment we grasp a truth, it slips into mystery. The moment we define something, we cut off its edges. So many of the questions we once thought had binary answers, right or wrong, true or false, light or dark, are now revealed to be portals, not puzzles. The question isn't, is this true, but what does this open in me? And suddenly, the quest shifts. We're no longer chasing finality. We're dancing with unfolding. The deeper you go, the less certainty you need, and the more curiosity becomes your compass. This is not intellectual chaos. It's soulful humility. It's a kind of reverence that says, maybe I wasn't meant to hold the answer. Maybe I was meant to hold the question, with care, with courage, with awe. Think of the child who keeps asking why. Not to be difficult, but because each answer only ignites more wonder. Why is the sky blue? Why do we cry? Why do people leave? You give your best response. But the next why is already rising. And so it is with the soul. Spiritual growth is not linear progress up a mountain of understanding. It is a spiral. A returning and re-returning to the same questions, each time from a deeper place. You ask, who am I? And an answer comes. You feel peace. But months later, you hear the same question echo again. This time not from the mind, but from the body. Not from the body, but from your relationships. Not from your relationships, but from silence. And you realize, the answer you had was true, but only from one level of you. This isn't failure, it's revelation. Real answers don't eliminate questions, they evolve them. It's like standing in front of a great painting. At first you admire the colors, then the composition, then the brushstrokes, then the emotion behind them. Each layer reveals a deeper inquiry. What is beauty? What is pain? Why does this speak to me at all? What began as appreciation becomes philosophy. What began as a moment becomes a mirror. So too with your life. That event you thought you understood, you'll return to it with new eyes. That belief you thought was resolved, it will knock again, asking to be re-seen. And every time it does, it will whisper, can you hold me more gently this time? Can you ask with less fear? Can you let the question be without rushing to solve it? This is the essence of inner maturity, living the questions, not to fix them, but to be formed by them. Some answers do bring relief. They untangle confusion. They offer structure, comfort, closure. But over time, we begin to see, some answers do bring relief. They untangle confusion. What we really long for isn't just clarity, it's contact, with something real, something alive. And life is never fully still. Even truth breathes. The truths that transformed you 5 years ago, do they still hold the same charge today? Or have they softened, shifted, asked to be shed? Even enlightenment evolves. Even spiritual insights become skins we must outgrow. That's not betrayal. That's growth. That's the soul in motion. In fact, some of the deepest spiritual pain comes not from not having the answers, but from refusing to let go of ones that no longer fit. You cling to the certainty of an old belief, and wonder why the present feels distant. You grip the logic of a former self and miss the poetry of the moment. The soul doesn't need you to be certain. It needs you to be present. And presence is a paradoxical space. It asks you to listen without concluding, to receive without resolving. You may feel naked in this space, exposed, vulnerable, because it's easier to hide behind answers than to kneel before mystery. But kneeling here, this is where something sacred enters. You become the one who does not demand resolution, but who lives in relation, with the unknown, with the unfolding, with the holy silence after the question is asked. And from that silence, something rises. Not always a solution, but maybe a shift, maybe a knowing without explanation, maybe a peace without proof. This is how the soul grows, not by collecting truths, but by learning how to carry them, gently, temporarily, openly. So, where does this leave us? Not empty-handed, but open-hearted. You may not have the final word, but you now live inside the living word, the one that keeps changing shape, as you become more capable of receiving it. This is what it means to walk a spiritual path not of destination, but of deepening. Each step doesn't bring more control, it brings more surrender. Each answer isn't a trophy, it's a torch, lighting the next unknown hallway in the labyrinth of your being. And when the mind cries out for certainty, when the ego begs for conclusion, you can gently smile and say, "It's okay not to know. It's okay to wonder. It's okay to keep asking." Because maybe the goal was never to master truth, but to be mastered by it, to let it change you, to let it teach you, to let it ask you back. There is a kind of sacred recursion at the center of all real growth, where the very answers we hold come alive again as questions within the heart. Like a wave returning to the ocean, the self dissolves into wonder. And maybe that's the final paradox. We thought we were here to find answers, but really, we're here to become the kind of presence that makes better questions possible. So ask, keep asking, but more importantly, become the stillness that listens, that receives, that invites. And when you do, you might hear it again, that soft whisper, that eternal echo, not an answer, but the next beautiful, dangerous, sacred question. Next time on the Neural Nirvana series, we explore the brain as an illusion machine. Until then, stay curious, stay conscious. If this stirred something inside you, subscribe, like, and share this with a fellow seeker.